Hey, I'm Nate Fosaaen. I'm a professional archaeologist currently excavating in northern Texas, and I specialize in the archaeology of North America prior to its colonization by Europeans. This has been my primary field of study for over 10 years, especially in the region that we call the Eastern Woodlands. Today I want to talk about a type of artifact that is commonly found at Poverty Point, and I'll leave a link in the description to my Poverty Point discussion video. But we don't really understand this artifact type very well, and we call them poverty point objects because scientists are terrible at naming things. Poverty point objects are, in their simplest forms, just globs of clay. They're globs of pottery. They're not vessels or like bowls or cups. They're essentially just lumps that have been fired and turned into a ceramic. Most of these are really simple and don't have much of an aesthetic component to them, but others are made into geometric shapes or will have simple patterns etched into their surfaces. And historically, these have all been lumped into one category, the poverty point object category, which tends to make people consider them all part of the same functional class. They're all doing the same thing. But just by looking at the diversity in them, it's clear that this cannot be the case. So the explanation for the informal ones, the ones that aren't decorated, the clay blobs, is that they're used for indirect cooking. So one of the methods for cooking in Eastern North America is that you can get a container that's waterproof, like a basket, or you can dig a hole in the ground and fill it with water, and then you heat these clay blobs until they get hot, and then you can throw them into water and change them out regularly. Pull them out, heat them back up, throw them in the water, pull them out, heat them back up, throw them back in the water until you get the water to boil, and then you can cook with it. In an area like northeast Louisiana that doesn't have much dense rock for hot rock boiling, which is one of the main cooking methods in Eastern North America, this might have been a viable alternative, a replacement for things like granites or anything like that you might have used for hot rock boiling elsewhere. Another way to cook with them involves digging an earth oven, which is a really common cooking method in North America for a very long time. It's actually the origin of the barbecue cuisine of the Southeast. We just used pigs instead of game or fish as our main meat source for indirect cooking. Anyway, you dig an earth oven, you light a fire in it, you fill it with the clay balls as the fire is going, the clay heats up, the fire dies down into coals, and then you put a piece of meat on top of it and it slow cooks. This is a couple of things. So first, the clay objects retain the heat from the fire in the first place, and second, it creates a space between the coals themselves and the meat so that the meat doesn't get burned. It's just the air inside being heated up that's cooking the meat. And so then you are able to cover that over with a hide and some dirt to keep the insulation up, and you're able to slow cook meat using this method. But this doesn't explain the decorated forms at all. Some are incised to look sort of like pumpkins or gourds. Others are cube-shaped and have ring and dot motifs etched into them. And any function for this particular kind of poverty point object is really just speculation. It's not science. We have no real basis for explaining what they're for. I personally think that they might be, or in some cases might be, pieces for some kind of board game, but that's just me making things up based on what they look like and what comes to mind. As always, if this subject intrigues you and you'd like to know more, please leave your questions in the comments section. That lets me know what other things that people are interested in and what other videos I should make. And as always, thank you for watching.